Toastmasters, consider this. A few years ago, my car broke down, and at that moment, my whole life changed. At that instant, I found the key to happiness, to a fulfilled life, and also a fun-filled life. I'll take you back 6 years in my country, Zimbabwe. There I was driving my white Ford Fiesta. And next to me was my beautiful, lovely, long life driving instructor, also known as my wife. Donald, you're driving too fast. Donald, you're driving too slow. Honey, I think you should overtake now. Honey, why are you overtaking? I'm sure you're very familiar for those of you who have spouses with you. So as I was driving, I was saved by the car. Suddenly the car just went dead. The engine went dead and it broke down. The engine went dead and it broke down. And I looked at my wife and she looked at me and she said, "Did you put enough petrol?" And I said, "Well, the problem is, I think, far worse than petrol. I think this car needs a push." Now, in my country, Zimbabwe, we don't have auto breakdown services. We are on AA. So if your car breaks down, you have to go out and push it. So I looked at my wife and I said, "Well, do you mind?" She didn't say anything. She gave me this look that said, "Don't push your luck. Go and push the car." So I went outside the car and started to push. It was hard work. I started to push. As I was pushing and looking down, I saw my big belly, which my wife refers, when she's really joking, as my low-hanging fruit. So I was looking at it and pushing, and at that moment, I was thinking to myself, this Ford Fiesta is just 7 years old, but it's already giving me problems. But as I was pushing again, I looked back at my belly, and I thought, well, at least I'm exercising. And then at that moment, fellow Toastmasters, sometimes a good idea comes to you when you least expect it. Sometimes when you're bathing and then you get this good idea. This is what happened to me then. I suddenly realized that as I was pushing this car and putting effort, my body was improving. But the car I was pushing, the more a car is used, the more it depreciates. And at that moment, I realized that the most important difference between a man like myself, or a car, or any other machine, is that the more a human being is used, the more a human being appreciates. And the more a machine is used, the more it depreciates. And that understanding really changed my life. I started to understand, yes, of course, that is why we go to the gym and exert a lot of effort. And as I was pushing, I was now enjoying it, you know. Now I was pushing with purpose. I had now meaning as I was pushing this car. And as well, if it is true for the physical body, it must be true for the mind as well. That the more we encounter problems, when we solve them, the better we become at solving problems. And I was on the road, I was thinking, well, maybe perhaps it is not money that makes the world go round. It is problems that make the world go round. And if you're an entrepreneur, you understand this. Because when everyone else looks at a problem and just sees problems, you are seeing a business opportunity. Because entrepreneurs make a lot of money because they found a way to solve societal problems at a profit. They found a way of solving societal problems at a profit. And I was thinking, wow, this is getting exciting. And I was pushing again, just thinking, what else could this mean? And fellow Toastmasters, I stumbled into answering the biggest problem or biggest question that humanity has asked. For those who are Christian or other faith, there's always this question of why is there suffering? Or some people say, why does God allow suffering? And at that moment, I realized, well, maybe we were created to be stronger, to be better, the more we endure problems and stresses. But what we create as human beings, the machines, the cars, and the computers, they depreciate the more they are used. So, of course, we will have suffering, because when we solve one problem, we create another problem, and then we solve, and that way an individual grows. That way a family grows. That way a community grows. That way a whole nation grows. That way the whole humanity grows. Because of problems. Because we were created in that way. So a big takeaway for you would be, the next time you look at a problem, the next time you have a challenge, look at it with a smile, because you were designed for exactly that. Thank you.
And the same, please. 1 minute whilst we put in our feedback forms. Everybody would care for a phone? I've got a spare one here on the